There are things you should never say to a woman, not because you're walking on eggshells, but because some words, once spoken, instantly kill attraction. No matter how confident, attractive, or successful you are, if you drop one of these lines, you might notice a shift. Her interest fades, her energy changes, and suddenly, you're not the guy she saw as intriguing anymore. Now, I know that might sound harsh, but stay with me. This isn't about playing games or being fake. It's about understanding what actually turns women off, even if no one talks about it openly. Welcome back, man of substance. If you're new here, this channel is all about helping men level up in how they think, how they carry themselves, and how they connect with women. Today's topic? It's one that might sting a little, because chances are you've said at least one of these 5 things before, and didn't even realize what it cost you. Here's the truth. Attraction is not just about looks, money, or status. Attraction is emotional. It's about how you make her feel. And some things we say, even with good intentions, create the exact opposite of desire. They make you look insecure, needy, or uncertain. And that flips the switch from maybe or yes to a hard no. The worst part? Most guys think they're being honest, kind, or even deep. But the words land wrong. Women won't always call it out, but they feel it. And once that switch flips, it's hard to turn it back on. So today, we're breaking down 5 things you should never tell a woman. Not because you're hiding who you are, but because these phrases send the wrong message about your mindset, your confidence, and your value. You'll see why they're so damaging, and what to say or do instead. Let's get into it. 1. I'm just being honest. No, you're oversharing. You're sitting across from her on a cozy patio. Second date vibes strong. Drinks arrive, conversation flows, and she says, "Tell me something most people don't know about you." Without hesitation, you launch into a 5-minute confession. The messy breakup that left you shattered, the crippling debt you're still clawing out of, and how your boss doesn't appreciate you. You wrap it up with, "I'm just being honest." The air shifts. She nods politely, but her energy drops, and you can almost feel the ice forming between you. Here's the problem. Honesty is great. Vulnerability is attractive. But timing and dosage are everything. When you flood a woman you barely know with your deepest insecurities, it doesn't read as authentic. It reads as emotional dumping. She's suddenly cast as your therapist, your rescuer, or your mom. All roles that kill romantic tension in seconds. Why does this happen? Attraction thrives on a balanced exchange. Early on, she's looking for signals that you're stable, confident, and able to handle your life. Oversharing flips that script. You're asking her to carry emotional weight she hasn't signed up for. It sends a message, often subconscious, that you don't have your inner world in check. That makes her wonder, if he's offloading all this now, what else is lurking? There's also a hint of pressure woven in. By revealing intimate details too soon, you implicitly ask for her validation or sympathy. That neediness chips away at the intrigue that makes early dating exciting. Remember, desire grows in an environment where both people feel free, not obligated, to open up at a pace that feels earned. So, what's the move instead? Keep the conversation real, but layered. Share opinions, playful stories, and light challenges. If she asks a personal question, give a meaningful yet concise answer. Something like, "I went through a tough breakup a while back. It taught me a lot about what I value in a relationship." That shows substance without handing over your entire emotional diary. Let deeper details surface naturally over time, when trust is mutual and attraction is already locked in. Think of it like seasoning food. A pinch brings flavor. The whole shaker ruins the dish. Your life story is rich enough to reveal in chapters, not a single info dump. Ironically, holding a little back creates space for curiosity, a powerful driver of attraction. She leans in because she wants to know more, not because she feels obligated to fix you. Bottom line, honesty matters, but context matters more. Early oversharing isn't bravery, it's boundary blindness. Give her a reason to feel excited about discovering you layer by layer. Keep the mystery alive. Show you can manage your own emotions, and watch how the connection deepens on its own. 2. Telling her she's out of your league. Telling a woman she's out of your league might feel like a compliment in the moment, but it's actually one of the fastest ways to lower her attraction for you. A lot of guys think they're being cute or humble when they say it. Maybe you've said it jokingly, half laughing, trying to lighten the mood. But what it really communicates, whether you realize it or not, is that you don't see yourself as valuable. You're basically telling her, I don't think I'm good enough for you. And once you say that, it's hard to come back from it. Attraction isn't just about looks, charm, or what kind of car you drive. It's about the energy you carry. The way you talk about yourself tells her everything she needs to know about your confidence. If you don't believe in your own worth, why should she? When you say something like, I can't believe you're even talking to me, or I don't know what a woman like you sees in me, you're putting yourself in the position of the lucky underdog. You've taken yourself out of the running as an equal and turned yourself into a fan. And while she might smile or laugh it off, deep down, it affects how she sees you. Because attraction works best when there's a sense of mutual respect and emotional balance. The moment you place her way above you, you break that balance. Women want to feel excited by a man's presence, not responsible for building up his self-esteem. When you act like she's doing you a favor just by being around, it subtly creates pressure. Now she's not enjoying the moment. She's managing your insecurity. And that's not attractive. It's exhausting. You don't need to prove anything to her. You don't need to impress her with over-the-top stories or shower her with flattery to keep her interested. What makes you attractive is owning who you are, knowing what you bring to the table without constantly pointing it out or putting yourself down. Confidence isn't loud, it's quiet and calm. It says, I belong here, without ever needing to say it out loud. The truth is, most guys who say a woman is out of their league don't actually believe it. They're just afraid of messing things up, so they play small. They try to keep the vibe light and non-threatening. But here's the problem. You can't create real attraction by acting like you're not worthy of it. You've got to show up as a man who sees himself as enough, because that's what actually creates chemistry. So stop saying she's out of your league. It doesn't make you humble. It makes you look unsure of yourself. And that's the last thing you want when you're trying to build real connection. 3. Opening up too soon about past hurts. Let's get one thing straight. There's nothing wrong with having emotional depth. Every man's been through something. A tough breakup, a betrayal, family issues. Pain is part of life. But when you bring those deep emotional wounds into the conversation too early, especially with a woman you've just started seeing, it doesn't create the connection you think it will. In fact, it usually does the opposite. A lot of men make the mistake of thinking that sharing their struggles early on will make them seem honest, real, or even more attractive. But when that level of emotional vulnerability comes too soon, it doesn't feel like openness. It feels like pressure. You're asking her to handle a version of you that's still healing, when you haven't even built a foundation yet. And most women aren't going to say this out loud, but the truth is, it's overwhelming. The early stages of dating are meant to be light. That's when both people are figuring out if there's chemistry, if the vibe is right, and if this is even something worth investing in. If you bring up past pain too early, especially if it's still raw, what she hears isn't just your story. She sees emotional weight. She senses that you're still tied to something you haven't moved on from. And that kills the spark. Women are naturally intuitive. They can tell when you're not fully over something. And while some might feel sympathy or try to be supportive, sympathy is not the same as attraction. When a woman feels like she's slipping into the role of your emotional support system too soon, it changes the entire dynamic. It becomes about caretaking, not connecting. That's not what creates romantic energy. Also, when you lead with pain, you lose the chance to show your strength first. Attraction often starts with a sense of emotional stability. A grounded man, someone who knows who he is, has been through things, but doesn't need to unload it all up front. You can absolutely share your story later, and when the time is right, it can actually deepen the connection. But if you rush into it, it creates discomfort. It takes away the fun, light, playful energy that makes a woman want to be around you in the first place. There's a difference between being emotionally available and emotionally exposed. You want to show that you're capable of depth, but not that you're still lost in your past. There's no need to act like you've had a perfect life. Just don't make pain your personality. Lead with who you are now, what you're passionate about, what drives you, what you're building. Let your character speak first. The rest can come out when trust is built. Bottom line, don't rush the deep stuff. Keep your wounds private until there's real space for them. You'll come off more confident, more grounded, and way more attractive. 4. Confessing you're not like other guys. On the surface, saying, "I'm not like other guys," might sound like a good thing. You're trying to separate yourself from the pack. Show her that you're different, that you won't treat her the way she's been treated before. But here's the truth. When you say it outright, it almost always backfires. Why? Because when a man has to say he's different, it usually means he's trying to prove something instead of just showing it through his actions. And women pick up on that. It comes off as insecure, like you're looking for approval or trying too hard to be seen as special. The more you try to convince her with words, the less she actually believes it. Women don't want you to tell them you're different. They want to experience it. That means how you carry yourself, how you handle situations, how you treat people, and how you make decisions. That's what shows her whether or not you're actually cut from a different cloth. If you've really got something unique about you, it speaks loud enough without needing to be announced. Also, when you say you're not like other guys, what you're really doing, without realizing it, is putting other men down to try and lift yourself up. That might seem harmless, but it gives off a negative vibe. It's like saying, "Look at how bad all those guys are. I'm the one good one." It's not confident. It's competitive in the wrong way. Confidence isn't about trying to outshine others. It's about owning your value without comparison. Another thing to consider. When you say this to a woman early on, she might actually hear it as a red flag. Because a lot of men who say, "I'm not like other guys," end up being exactly like the ones she's trying to avoid. She's heard it before, probably more times than you think. And if she's been burned before, she's learned not to believe it until she sees real proof. So instead of reassuring her, it can make her even more cautious. The best way to be different is to act different. Show her respect without being a pushover. Be honest without oversharing. Stay grounded in your values. Be someone who listens without needing constant validation. When you do that consistently, she'll notice. And when she does, she might even say it herself. "You're not like other guys." That's when you know it's real, because it came from her experience, not your pitch. In the end, your actions are what set you apart. Not slogans, not promises, just how you show up, day after day. Don't try to sell yourself as something rare. Just be the kind of man who's not common, and let her discover that for herself. That's what actually builds attraction. 5. Admitting you don't know what you want. One of the quickest ways to turn off a woman's interest, especially if she's looking for something real, is telling her you don't really know what you want right now. It might sound honest, and maybe you think you're just keeping things open and casual, but to her, it signals indecision, confusion, and a lack of direction. And whether she's aware of it or not, that instantly affects how she sees you. Now, this doesn't mean you need to come out saying you want marriage, kids, and a house in the suburbs by next summer. That's not what this is about. It's about the energy behind your words. When a man says he doesn't know what he wants, what it often sounds like is, "I'm not grounded. I'm unsure of myself. I'm kind of just floating through life." And for most women, especially those who are emotionally mature, that's not attractive. Imagine a woman asks you, "So what are you looking for?" And your response is something like, "I don't really know. I'm just seeing where things go." Now, maybe that's completely true. Maybe you just got out of a relationship, or you're focused on other parts of your life. But here's how that answer lands. It tells her there's no plan, no clarity, and no sense of leadership in your approach. It puts her in a position where she's now guessing whether or not you even want to pursue her, or if you're just killing time. Let's say you meet a woman at a party, there's chemistry, and you both decide to grab coffee a few days later. Conversation's good, the vibe is strong, and she asks, "Are you dating seriously, or just having fun right now?" And you shrug and say, I'm not really sure. I'm just feeling things out. That one moment, right there, can completely change how she sees you. Because now, instead of being someone she can build something with, you're just another guy who doesn't have a clear sense of direction. It's not that you need to have your entire life figured out. No one does. But confidence isn't about having all the answers. It's about being able to communicate where you are in a way that shows intention. Saying something like, right now, I'm focused on building something solid. I don't rush into things, but I'm open to a real connection with the right person. Lands totally differently. It shows you're selective, clear, and grounded. Even if you're not looking for something serious, you can still express that with clarity. Saying, I'm not in a place for a relationship at the moment, but I'm always open to meaningful connections, is a much stronger position than saying you don't know it all. Bottom line, indecision is unattractive. Women are drawn to men who know what they want, or at the very least, aren't afraid to say what they're about. Be honest, but be intentional. It makes all the difference. 6. Seeking her approval too early. A lot of guys don't even realize they're doing this, but seeking a woman's approval too early in the connection is one of the fastest ways to kill attraction. It's subtle. It shows up in the way you respond to her opinions, how you shape your personality to fit hers, and how you constantly look for signs that she likes you. And while it might feel like you're just being nice or respectful, what you're actually doing is giving away your power. Here's how it usually starts. You meet someone you're really into, and instead of showing up as your full, unapologetic self, you start adjusting. You play it safe. You say things just to get her to agree with you. You hold back from sharing your honest thoughts if you think they might rock the boat. At some point, without realizing it, you're performing instead of just being real. And here's the thing, women can feel that. The moment they sense you're trying to win them instead of just connecting with them, the energy shifts. It stops feeling like two equals getting to know each other and starts feeling like one person is chasing and the other is deciding whether or not to reward them. That imbalance kills attraction fast. When you seek approval, what you're really saying is, I hope I'm good enough for you. That mindset doesn't build connection. It creates pressure, not just on you, but on her. Now she feels like she's being placed on a pedestal she didn't ask for. That might feel flattering for a minute, but it quickly becomes uncomfortable because it takes the fun and freedom out of the interaction. Attraction grows when both people feel seen, respected, and challenged. It doesn't grow when one person is constantly looking for validation. Confidence means you're not afraid to disagree, to have your own opinions, to share your true personality, even if it's not what you think she wants to hear. That's what makes you stand out. Not being agreeable, but being authentic. A lot of men fall into this trap because they think the fastest way to win a woman over is to be liked at all costs. But the truth is, women don't want a man who molds himself to fit their world. They want a man who's already grounded in his own and invites them into it. That doesn't mean you become stubborn or arrogant. It just means you stop treating her interest like something you have to constantly earn. You don't need to prove yourself. You don't need to audition. The moment you stop chasing her approval and start valuing your own self-respect, everything shifts. She starts to see you as someone solid, someone who can lead, who has standards, and who doesn't fold under pressure. So drop the approval seeking. Be direct, be honest, and most importantly, be yourself. That's what keeps her interested. 7. Saying you're lucky to have her too soon. Telling a woman you're lucky to have her might seem sweet, even charming, but if you say it too early, it sends the wrong message. It might feel like you're being humble or showing appreciation, but what it really does is create an uneven dynamic. And when attraction is just starting to build, that can be a deal breaker. Let's be clear, there's nothing wrong with appreciating a woman or showing her that you value her presence in your life. That's actually a good thing once a strong connection has been built over time. But when you start using language like, I'm so lucky to have you, just a few dates in, or even before anything has truly developed, it signals something deeper that you may not be aware of, that you've already put her above you. And here's where the constructive criticism comes in. A lot of guys are way too quick to pedestalize women. It often comes from a place of low self-worth. Maybe you're not used to getting attention from someone you find really attractive. Maybe part of you doesn't feel like you deserve her. So when she shows interest, you feel like you've won the lottery. And without realizing it, you start speaking and acting like she's some kind of prize you're trying to keep at all costs. But here's the hard truth. The moment you act like she's the prize, and you're just lucky to be in the room, the power dynamic shifts, and not in your favor. Women don't want to feel like they're being idolized before they've even shown who they are. They want to feel chosen for who they are, not just for being attractive or giving you attention. And they want to be with a man who values himself just as much. So ask yourself, why are you rushing to hand over that much value? Why are you putting her on a pedestal before she's earned a place in your life? That's the wake-up call here. You've got to stop seeing attention from a woman as a reward or a sign that you're finally good enough. That mindset is exactly what's holding you back. Instead, focus on building a mutual connection. Let her prove herself, just like you do. Stay grounded in your worth, no matter who's in front of you. If you genuinely admire her qualities, show appreciation through your actions, being present, being honest, being consistent. But don't throw around phrases like, "I'm lucky to have you," until a real bond exists, and you both know where you stand. This isn't about playing games or pretending not to care. It's about self-respect. You're not lucky to have her. She's not lucky to have you. If it's right, you're lucky to have each other, but only once you both show up with real value. Start showing up like a man who believes he belongs, not one who's amazed someone gave him a shot. That's when everything starts to change. Here's the truth. Most guys don't lose attraction because they're not good-looking enough, rich enough, or cool enough. They lose it because of what they say, and they don't even realize it. Attraction isn't just built on what you do. It's killed by what you reveal too soon, what you give away too easily, and what you say when you're not grounded in who you are. And the harsh reality? A woman can feel turned off by your words before she even fully understands why. That's how powerful this stuff is. So take this as a wake-up call, not to overthink every word you say, but to become more aware of the energy behind your words. Are you speaking like a man who values himself? Or are you looking for approval, validation, or a shortcut to closeness? The good news is, all of this is fixable. Every man can improve how he shows up, how he speaks, and how he connects. It starts with self-awareness, then it becomes practice. You don't need to pretend to be someone you're not. You just need to stop sabotaging your own value. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever said any of these things without realizing the impact? Be honest in the comments. I'll be down there responding and having real conversations with you. This is a space where men grow, not just to attract women, but to become stronger, more confident, and more respected. Let's keep building.